I'm making this video, and also instead of me texting in words, basically I'm going to tell you how I feel from my heart and from my spirit. Because, a lot of people sometimes they ask, why do I wear, Philippines signet clothing, with the flag on it. And, some people say, oh, you must really love the Philippines, to wear the flag in its color. Which is true, because those people know basically if I wear a flag from any country, or if I say I support that country's flag, that means that I'm supporting the meaning that that flag stands for, and also its people that are in that country. Because remember, the country wouldn't be the Philippines if it didn't have the people first. The people came before the government. But most people that know history, they realize that, the Filipino people are the country. The Philippines is the Philippines because of its culture and its country. That's with any country. So, I don't want to get involved in teaching a history class. I just wanted to let you all know how I feel about the Philippines. I love the country. I've always loved the Philippines. A lot of people don't even know because they don't really know me. But I've loved the Philippines mostly all my life, since the age of 10. Growing up in the U.S. because I grew up with Filipino people. I grew up with Asian people. My first girlfriend was Filipino. Lived in my neighborhood, and Filipina. Yeah, in my neighborhood, and basically, she was what we call my little girlfriend. We're only 10, and then when we got in high school, things kind of changed because in the U.S. Filipino women, especially Asian women, different than American women, if you didn't have a car to drive, or if you couldn't ice skate, then you couldn't date no Asian woman, because everybody that was Asian was at the roller skating rings, ice skating ring every weekend, to go through competition. If you couldn't dance on ice skates, you wouldn't have no Asian girlfriend, and if you didn't have no car, you wouldn't have no Asian girlfriend. So I already knew how to ice skate because, I grew up, skiing and ice skating and all that. But the problem was that, when I was in high school, I didn't have a car. So I told my dad what was going on, and he said, well, son, you got to get a car. So I did. So, that's just how it went. So I kept my Filipino girlfriend, along through high school and everything. And, things change. You go to college and people got different visions in life. But mostly all my life, I've always loved dating Asian women and Filipino women. So you're talking about all my life. So when most people meet you, they say, oh, he's just another expat or foreigner that's coming here to visit the Philippines. And, they don't even really know you. So they don't even know that you already know the country and know the people, for the last 40, 50 years because, you grew up in that environment. So when I tell people I love the Philippines, it's not because of me just being over here now. I love the Philippines all my life. I love the Filipino people all my life. I cared for the Filipino people all my life. I didn't just start helping to look out for Filipino people. I've been doing it before I even came here, with sending money to help single moms for Pampers and to be able to help them to get milk because they couldn't breastfeed, or people that became close to me as friends. They got good jobs at the call center, but they didn't have a laptop or Wi-Fi to work from home. Oh yeah, I don't want to get the praise. The praise, don't give me the praise, because I don't like people to glorify me for nothing that I do for them, period. Thank God for it, because it's Him that put it in my spirit and in my heart to do it for the people. And that's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get into the, different things with, God placing things in your heart, and, through life you wonder why you have a desire for certain things, because then I'll be making this video for the next 4 hours. But, people that know me, we could talk about that later and everything, but, loving the Philippines has been in my heart for a long time, And when you love something, it's different than you like something. People don't realize that. I can like you, but you have a problem. I'm only going to help you so much. But if I love you and say you got a problem where basically you need surgery, it could be open heart surgery, cardiac surgery. It could be getting a brain tumor taken off your brain. And in the Philippines, you got to have money to pay for that. And a lot of people don't have the money. So unfortunately, I hate to say it, some people I've met, they died. I didn't really know them. I wasn't connected with them. I was just at the hospital for my procedures with physicals and checking on my back and stuff. But people that you love, you'll sell everything you have to make sure they stay alive. You would do whatever you need to do to make sure you got money to pay for their surgery. You'll start asking people that you never asked help for that they got money. And you would do everything to make sure, no matter what, until you get it, that it's done. You see what I mean? That's what you do when you really love people. I've already done it. I've already had to do that in the past for somebody. So I don't need to, what I call, demonstrate my love or, prove it to nobody but people who really know me and know circumstances that I've been involved in. They know that when I say I love the Filipino people and I love the Philippines, I've already demonstrated it in my life. And then also, helping people, you do it from your heart. You don't want nothing back. Because some people you help, they're not going to be thankful. Some people are not going to understand. You have people on the street, they ask for help and, they may have other agendas or other things that are going on, and that would be the kind of help they may need, to where you have to be close to them to really truly help them. So when I do certain things, I do it from my heart. I don't want nothing back from nobody. Because remember, what I do it because I love the people and love the country. And love ain't attached to getting paid back. Love ain't attached to you being glorified. Love ain't attached to you making people like you. Love ain't attached to nothing but itself and God. So that's why I do what I do, because of the love of the people in the country. I try to emphasize this over and over to people. I don't want people to think that, you do something because of whatever. I do it because basically I love the people, and basically okay, as I say it again, I want to explain to you that when I tell you I love the Filipino people and I love the country, and I haven't just started loving the country just from going to the Philippines for months and a couple of years. I love the Filipino people in the country all my life. I've loved it all my life. And basically, when someone wears a flag or they wear clothing with something on it, I'm talking about, well, with me, which will represents the colors of the Filipino flag, there's a meaning to those colors. The red, the blue, and the white. And then you have the yellow and then the sun. It represents the meaning of the flag, which is connected to the people. Well, I stand by every meaning of that flag, and what's in my spirit and what's in my heart is also the meaning of that flag, and that's why I love the Filipino people and I love the Philippines. So technically, you would have blue, which represents, peace, truth, and justice, and then you got red that represents patriotism and valor, and the white triangle representing equality, liberty, and fraternity. That's unity together. The yellow sun symbolizes freedom and democracy, with the 8 rays honoring the first provinces to revolt against Spain. While the 3 stars represents Luzon, the Visayas, and Mindanao. Because, a lot of people, I don't know if they know history, but, the Spanish, the Japanese, tried to take over the Philippines, tried to invade the Philippines and put the people in captivity and all that other stuff. But the Philippines was able to overcome that because the U.S. government made a covenant with the Philippines that it would protect it at all costs, no matter what. So the U.S. has been doing that for hundreds of years. So technically, if a country say, look, I'm going to send my soldiers to support your country and to help with any invasion, any enemy or entity that comes against the country to try to take away its democracy and freedom, my soldiers are willing to die to help your country. So a lot of people don't realize the U.S. has always loved the Philippines. always supported the Philippines. So if I tell you that I got love for the Philippines and love for the Filipino people, which make up the color of the flags, and the people are the flag, technically, if I tell you that's in my spirit, that means that every meaning of every color that the Filipino flag represent, I stand by it and I support it 100%. Why? Because I love the Filipino people. Not like the Filipino people, love the Filipino people. And that's why I would be in the Philippines and want to live the rest of my life and retire and buy land, build a house, marry a Filipino. Because I love the Filipino people. And whatever you love in life, that's what your heart is going to be attached to. But many people don't understand that. They don't realize, basically, when a person loves a country or loves somebody, that it's deeper than just, a like issue. Like, for an example, if you like somebody, then basically, you would do things to help them out of a situation, but you're only going to go so far. But if you love somebody, you'll risk your life for them. You'll give all you have to make sure that they come out of whatever they come out of. And I don't know if I explained this already in my video, but, dealing with a situation where, let's say if somebody's in the hospital, they have a tumor on their brain, they need surgery. And the surgery is hundreds of thousands of pesos, and they can't afford to get it. And you consult with the doctor, and you say, well, what happens if they don't get this surgery? The doctor says it plain and simple. Sooner or later, they're going to die. So you have people that may have been put in that situation, and basically, with me, I would have great compassion on that person, and I'm led to help that person, and then basically you're saving their life. I've done this already. So I've demonstrated my love for the Filipino people in the country. You're talking about somebody giving their money or taking a loan out or consulting other family members to help you with getting this done. And then you wind up getting it done. And you don't want anything back from these people. You're not asking them for anything. You're not even telling them to let anybody know that you did this for them and you saved their life. Well, I did that before. And I don't want to be glorified. I don't want people to say, oh, you helped save somebody's life. You gave your money. You didn't want nothing back. No, I did this for only one reason. And here I'm going to say it again. I did it because I truly love the Filipino people and I truly love the Philippines. So I demonstrated my love. But that's only one demonstration. I'm not going to even go into all the rest of them. But I've always been helping the Filipino people who I love basically all my life. Some people say, oh yeah, well you visited in the Philippines and you stay in the Philippines, you want to retire there because you've been there and you like the country. No, I've always loved the country since I was a teenager. You're talking about, when I was age 17. I'm at the age of 55, 60? So basically I love the Filipino people and, been involved with connecting with the Philippines basically all my life. My first girlfriend in high school was Filipina. My girlfriend in college was Filipina. I've always had a desire to marry a Filipina and have children. For some reason, I've never had a desire to want to be with American women, Japanese women, Chinese women, or whoever else. I've always had a strong desire to date and be involved with a Filipino woman. And when I tried to date other nationalities, I wasn't happy. I wasn't content because guess what? My heart wasn't connected with it. Which means that I can never love that person or love their character because my heart wasn't connected to that. My heart has always been connected to loving Filipino people, helping Filipino people, living in the Philippines, getting my citizenship, and dying in the Philippines, and having a burial plot in the Philippines, not the U.S. That's just the way I've always felt. That's the way I'm going to stay. And it don't matter what nobody has done to me negatively in the Philippines, I wind up always forgiving them. Why? Because I love the people. That's what I try to explain to people. I don't care who you date, who you marry. I don't care who you get involved with. If you don't truly love them, you're wasting your life. You're wasting your time. You can't build with them. If they get in a situation, you're only going to sacrifice so much for them because your love going to be tested. So me, other people may not like it, Other people may not agree with whatever you choose in your life, but my grandmother always taught me, go with your heart, go with what you love. Because when you do that, you're going to be at peace, you're going to be happy, you're going to enjoy life, and you're going to give your all. Now, have I gave my love to people and they didn't give theirs back? Of course, that's life. You're going to love and care for a lot of people and help them. And they're going to talk about you. They're going to say things negative. That's going to happen. That's life. But when you love the people, it doesn't matter what some people do to hurt you. Because you love the people, it don't matter what those few people done. You're not going to start hating the whole character or country of people because of what a few did. Because you love the people. So I always go with what I love, and I go with my heart. I've had women in the U.S. that are American women that always say, oh, well, why you love Filipino people? Oh, they've used a lot of people, and they've done this and done that and did this. Well, a lot of American women did the same. Family members I love hurt me. People in life I trusted hurt me. It don't matter where you go in life. But the main important thing is that if you have a love for someone, and your heart is connected, then that's where you should go. So I'm giving this message not only to my PNP friends, immigration friends, LTO friends, people that I haven't met yet, people that I will meet, the attorneys, the marshals, the security guards, my teachers, my parents, and everybody in life. I love the Philippines. And I will stand with the Philippines, the Filipino people, the Filipino country, the land, the animals, and everything the rest of my life, because that's where my heart is. And that's where I love. So I wanted to get this message out there to clear up the air and to let everybody know on this planet where my heart is. My heart is connected to the red, blue, white, and yellow of the Filipino flag, which represents peace, fraternity, equality, democracy, valor, strength, and I'm not even going to get into the symbol of the eagle. Strength, freedom, the ability to rise all above any hostile entity or whatever it is. So I know that if the U.S. stands with the Philippines and they've made a covenant to love the Philippines and protect it at all costs, then my heart is the same way. My heart is the same way. So I just wanted to let people know where my heart is and where my spirit is. Now, why am I like that? Of course, God put it in my spirit. God is in control and creates everything and allows everything to happen in your life. But I used to ask myself, well, why I don't love China or Japan or Africa, or why I don't even love my own country where I was born at the same way. I don't know. You have to ask God about that. But this is all I know. For the rest of my life, it doesn't matter what happened. I'm going to love the Filipino people because that's who I love. I'm going to stand with their country. And I'm praying to God in the future, with the help of the government, that I will have my citizenship so that I can vote, so that I can get involved in helping to create agencies that will help single moms with a check every month to help them with their children, to help them with food, the same way the U.S. does. That is my vision, that is my goal, and to help with a lot of things. But in order to help change a country or change someone, you got to start with yourself. And only when you start with yourself, then you can start with somebody else. Remember that. No matter what you love, it comes from yourself first.